Beginning in the year 1992, I produced and hosted a television program titled AAP Magazine, which meant interviews with active and aspiring people. I interviewed outstanding Black Americans who had made significant contributions to the African American community throughout the United States of America. They did not make headlines, but yet their contributions were very significant. One of those I interviewed, his name was Mr. Joseph Bernard Walker. At the time that I interviewed him in 2005, he was 81 years old. He passed away in the year 2010. He was an original member of the Montford Point Marine Unit, which was recently honored by Congress, the first Black unit of Marines in the United States military. The interview with Mr. Walker was very informative. I hope that you enjoy it. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes of it. I interviewed him for over an hour. If you'd like to see the DVD in its entirety, please email me at kareemalgebra@yahoo.com. Sit back and relax and enjoy the program. Military at 18, 19 years old,
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Right.
So when you got in the military, what attracted you to the Marine Corps?
Well, after the examination, it was in Newark, New Jersey. And of course, the final examinations was held in the armory in Newark. And of course, a bunch of guys, I mean, they were going through like cattle or whatever you call it. And when they got through, they gave you a bunch of papers, and then one guy would tell you to go in to sit down, and when you see this guy, salute him and be stand at attention and give him your papers. Well, I went through that procedure. The guy thumbed through a couple of mine and turned it back over and stamped on there, accepted Navy. And of course, there was another guy, white Marine behind me. He was the one who ushered me in there. And just we started doing, I said, man, I don't want to be in no Navy. It's what you said, boy. You know, there he is a Marine, and Marines are all supposed to be men, you know.
1943, about 1943 when this took place.
19.
You were in Newark, New Jersey,
Yeah.
and they call you a boy.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
But anyway, I told him I didn't want to be in it. So he said, well, go, follow me. We went out of this particular office into another office right beside it, and he told me to hand the guy my papers. So he handed him and thumbed through out. Boom! Accepted Marine Corps. That's how I got in.
Okay. The time you got there, the initial training was, I guess, calisthenics and getting you in shape.
Marching and all that kind of stuff.
And so you had about a week of working with weapons and live ammunition.
Yeah, that was after the basic training, all the marching and so forth.
Right, right.
We had to get ourselves adjusted though. And whatever adjustments we had to make, the main one we had to make was any place that you went on that camp, and there were very few places you could go. Well, main was, for an example, was the dining hall. If you ever went to the dining hall, you had to run with a trot. If you had to go to the head, that's the bathroom, that's what they call it, the head. You had to run. Anytime you came out the barrack, you had to run. Wherever you was going or whatever you were doing, you had to run. That kept you in shape. We, little jokes was pulled on us. In fact, you go to the head the first thing in the morning, get ready for reveille and so forth, you know, approaching duty. And of course the guys would see you down there and say, hey boy, come here. And you walk up to them, yes sir. Everybody, yes sir. That's what we said, yes sir to any of them. They tell us to run down and man that corner and give me a handful of sand and break it. Well, we moved out, running. And you always grab that handful of sand on the turnaround, man, leaning. You didn't stop. You picked it up, you came in, yes sir. And then take it back down and put it where you found it.
Now, on the weekends, were you all given the opportunity to go into town, the nearest town, or anything like that?
We, after our basic training, which was 2 months, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay, that's about
After
8
that.
weeks, 8,
Yeah,
9,
about
10
8,
weeks,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. And I mean, they stuffed in everything they could as far as knowledge was concerned. The Marine Corps way. This is the way we're going to do it. You don't do it your way. We do it the Marine Corps way. And all of it soaked in. It soaked in to the point you wouldn't forget any of it, especially the running business.
But all the while that you were at Montford Point, this was total segregated area.
Yeah.
Nothing but black Marines.
Black Marines, but
You never
white,
did interact with the white Marines who were sent to Paris Island. No interaction.
The guys did earlier. They not the ones who basically went to Paris Island, but the white Marines on the base there who taught the first guys.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I
We
understand.
never did come in contact with them, but the other guys.
But you all rode the bus together from New York City down to
Train. Yeah.
together from New York City to
DC.
DC.
And that's where we changed.
And
over.
that's where everybody got separated.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the white Marines went to Paris Island and the black Marines went to Montford Point, North Carolina.
Right.
Okay. Now, after you were had completed basic training, what was the next point from there?
Well, they were going to send you to, assignment to another area or another outfit within the Montford Point Marines.
Okay.
We were assigned to the 51st Defense Battalion.
51st Defense Battalion.
Now, and all of the guys who finished out of that 40, about 45 of us, was in a platoon. And my platoon was 102.
Okay.
All of us didn't go to the 51st. Quite a few of us, depending on what you specialized in.
But
what
your
you're good in.
your basic battalion was all black, whichever way you went.
Yeah.
Okay.
All black with the exception of the officers now.
Right, right.
And they were white. All
Okay.
white. They introduced the carbine rifle to us. We were basically in the 52nd Defense Battalion. So let me back up and go from the 51st over to the 52nd.
Okay, tell me about that.
All the guys in the 51st Defense Battalion who were going overseas left. They left 400 of us there to help form the 52nd. And they moved us from this Camp Knox area over to the main base. The reason for it, down in the bottom where the 51st Defensive Special Weapons Group was located, they had a little shooting going on down there. So to move us out of the way, we wasn't shooting anybody, but somebody was shooting somebody. We could hear it. Bing! I mean, you could hear it. So they moved us out.
And this is while you were in the United States.
In the United States.
In the state of North Carolina.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody was shooting at the black Marine. Would you say that was taking place?
Yeah. Not as such though, but yeah. It might have been one of the drill instructors that slapped a guy. I want to slap me too. I'll never forget it. And they wanted to get revenge. Or it might have been the guy said, man, meet me down in the boondocks after chow.
Okay, so
you
now...
meet down there and I'll meet you down there. We'll fight it out. But the slick deal was, when the drill instructor went down there, he had his other buddies standing around waiting for you to come down there. They'd wear your butt out.
So now, did you... You've lived long enough to see the desegregation of the military and the different changes that have gone on through society. At that time, did you think that would ever take place?
I didn't give it that much thought.
Okay.
But now, like you said, you're thinking back now. Well, I've had 60-some years to think back, because it was 60-some years ago, 62 or 63 years ago that I actually went in.
Okay.
We always figure that as time goes by, there's going to be progress. We've seen it. It was just a little bit at a time. And I was going to tell you, if we had time, of 5 white guys who was on the same ship with us. And of course, we had a little segregation there, but other than that, the eating part was segregated. But other than that, man, we sit down, we socialized, coming back from overseas with our equipment. We got down to the Caribbean Sea, and brand new ship caught on fire, that kind of thing. Got into the Panama Canal Zone, and the guys want to put it, the MPs want to put us in jail. We told them we weren't going, and we didn't. And we meant it. You take any, you have to go to jail. We ain't going to jail.
What they want to put you in jail for?
Because we were in a restricted area as far as military folks are. We saw that sign up there, no military. We didn't care, man. You had just come from overseas, out of the woods, out of the boondocks. Mosquitoes eating you, all that kind of stuff. You want to go to some decent place after you done had a nice clean shower on a Navy ship? And, you know, Navy, as far as cleanliness is concerned, man, they're tops for that, man. You got to do something good for that white uniform you got on. We didn't have no white uniform on, but just to give you an idea about the Navy. But man, we got out in the Caribbean Sea and they ran to a storm. The ship was doing listed 35 and 40 degrees. And the guy said with the 45 wasn't coming back. I mean, we done been overseas all this time. Ain't got no scratches. Got to do scared out of us though. And all of a sudden something like that comes up, man, you're nervous. Yeah, you pray. You pray, but all you got to do is pray. You got to do something for yourself. We made it. We made it back to Norfolk. We got to Norfolk. They wasn't loading the ship, putting the stuff on flat car. We weren't. Steve Lewis, you know, who worked there. The second day, they wasn't loading the ship. They put the stuff on the flat cars. They had a railroad strike. Commanding officer sent a note or whatever they call it, where we get communicate, and told us, said, put them guys, let them guys get the vehicles that have been taken off the ship, gas them up and load them up and send them on down here because we know they want to go home.
Okay.
So that brings us on back down to Camden Joint. Of course we got down there and the guys said, well, no, we have to have so many men. That was 10 of us and 5 of the white guys. Oh man, we had a good time. That was part of this integration thing that's happening right along about now. We weren't working to the point that we wanted to socialize with the white guys. Well, it's a common thing, man. I mean, a bunch of guys get today, start talking. Once they start talking, start doing things. You play cards, yeah. Gin rummy. You go take gin rummy, man, and if you're playing it and it's time to go to chow, you take your hand and put it in your pocket. You go on to chow and eat and come on back, smoke a cigarette. You all ready to start back again. Reach in your hand, get your pocket. Start the gin rummy over again. We didn't have no money. What were we going to gamble for? But that was just a nice deal thing. We were coming down Highway 17, the same 5 white guys and 10 of us, and they were driving their trucks. And a warrant officer, I believe it was. Got ready to eat, stopped at a place along the highway there, a restaurant along the highway, way out. And the guy told the officer that we couldn't eat there, but the white guys could. He said, no, these are military folks. The guy said, no, we can't feed them. We can't feed the white dude. But he must have told them guys something. And, you know, we walked right into that place and sit down and eat with no civilians in there now. This is a 12 o'clock thing, and wasn't nobody, no patrons in there. If there was, we didn't see them. And we sat down and ate. Now, little things like that over the years, something different has got to take place. It's not going to remain the same.